This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connect the world.
Peter Kroll, Bitcoin Reef, Curacao, Curacao.
Basketball is a popular team sport played worldwide and known for its fast pace, athleticism, and skillful maneuvers. Did you know basketball was invented by Dr. James Naismith, a Canadian physical educator instructor, in December 1891?
Yes.
Migos is an American hip-hop trio that originated in Lawrenceville, Georgia. The group, formed in 2008, consists of three members: Quavo, Offset, and Takeoff. Migos gained widespread recognition for their unique style, catchy ad-libs, and contributions to the trap music genre. Did you know, besides band members, they're also family members?
Yes.
Tacos are a traditional Mexican dish that has gained immense popularity worldwide. They are known for their versatility, as they can be filled with a wide variety of ingredients, making them suitable for various tastes and dietary preferences. Do you eat tacos once a week?
Yes.
The Singularity is Near is a book written by futurist Ray Kurzweil, published in 2005. The book explores the concept of the technological singularity, a hypothetical point in the future when technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in unforeseeable change to the human civilization. Do you think we're already experiencing singularity nowadays?
Yes.
Are there a lot of boating accidents at the Bitcoin Reef?
No.
Sparkling water, also known as carbonated water or soda water, is water in which carbon dioxide gas is dissolved under pressure. It's a popular and refreshing beverage that comes in various forms, including natural carbonated mineral water and artificially carbonated water. Do you drink 2 liters of sparkling water a day?
No.
Falling Down is a psychological thriller film directed by Joel Schumacher. The film follows the story of a man named William D. Vance Foster, portrayed by Michael Douglas, who experiences a series of personal and societal frustrations, leading to a violent and unpredictable journey through Los Angeles. Did you know originally the studio considered casting Robert Duvall, who played the police officer in the film, as the lead character D. Vance?
No.
Amsterdam, the capital city of the Netherlands, has a rich and diverse history that spans many centuries. But did you know Amsterdam had the first public bank to offer accounts not directly convertible to coin? As such, it has been described as the first true central bank.
No.
Do you prefer a bowl of kadushi soup over a plate of stoba?
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connect the World weekly podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Steph. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 97 of Connect the World, and this show is made possible by our friends from BL3P, the European Bitcoin exchange located in the Netherlands. Thank you guys for helping us out with our mission, very important one. And if you also want to help out with our mission to connect the world with Lightning, then follow us on Twitter, subscribe at YouTube, and of course, if you have any questions at all, go to our Telegram group and you can ask us everything, and the donation is always welcome. Conecta el mundo.
Welcome, Pete.
Welcome,
you.
Pete.
Thanks for having me.
Good to
here.
have you on the show.
Nice to have you. Yeah, of course.
Good to have you on the show, man. And I have to convince something right away. Because, well, as I told you in my in the pre-talk, I have been to Curacao in 2013. It was something like that, and I'm a really big fan of snorkeling. Really big fan. I mean, if I'm
great.
on a vacation with nice sandy beaches and good coral or whatever, then I'm always in the water snorkeling. But the whole vacation, when I went to Curacao, I haven't had one snorkeling trip in the 9 days I was there. And yeah, it was because I had a lot of other distractions, and you know which distractions I'm talking about, Peter. But I had to convince this to you, man, because I'm a bit ashamed because my grandma or my mother-in-law, she told me that it's one of the nicest reefs out there, and I haven't been into it, man.
So you must go back, right?
Yes, you got to come back, spend some sats, do some snorkeling.
Yeah. Looks like a nice plan.
Yeah, but it's so stupid. But is it? I mean, have you been to other reefs too, Pete? Are you a snorkeler, by the way? Or are you more of a scuba diver? Or
I'm more of a scuba diver. I haven't been for a few years, but I used to scuba dive every Friday. And I've been, when I was a teenager, I did a scuba dive in Cuba, but all my other dives were here in Curacao. I had just over about 100 dives.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
and is it as beautiful as people say it is? I mean, is it? Can you compare it to different reefs? Yeah, the one in Cuba then, but.
Well, Curacao is known to have one of the nicest reefs that hasn't been damaged due to lionfish or climate change. Bonaire's reef is more pristine, but the rest of the Caribbean has had some trouble with like corals dying with the water warming and stuff like that. And Curaçao's still got a healthy reef.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I've also been to the southernmost point in Florida. It was at Key West, and they were advertising with the only living coral reef in the whole North of America, and it sucked, man. I didn't see any coral, to be honest. So it was a big disappointment. And then I went to the Bahamas, and it also sucked. But I went to Asia, to Malaysia, and that was it was so beautiful. And I went there twice, and it was, I think, the most impressive vacation I've had. But I still have so much pain not being in the reef of Curacao, man. I mean, yeah,
shame on you.
Really, shame on me, because
I've never been there, but I'm curious.
Well, I wanted to say something extra special about our reef, which is it's like 30 meters from the shore. You know, Curacao is kind of like a volcanic mountain that's dormant. And so you just swim out 30 meters and then there's like a wall. So the reef is like extending hundreds of feet down. Obviously, the recreational limit is like 60 feet and then like 110 or 120 feet. But normally scuba diving is much more expensive because you have to get on a boat, and in Curacao there's like 40 different spots. You just walk out from the beach and swim out 30 meters and there's the reef.
It's also amazing. So stupid because the hotel where I was in was Lions Dive, and it happened to be that there was also a reef right next to the hotel. Just get in the water. The only thing I had to do was get in the water, swim for like 10-12 meters, put my glasses on, and then I must have seen all the pretty stuff, but I had trouble dealing with hangovers. Let's put it that way. Oh man. Okay, but enough of the reefs, man. Your favorite holiday destination is Amsterdam, but you're not a Dutchie. You live in Curacao. Obviously, Curacao and the Netherlands are connected, but how come that Amsterdam is your favorite holiday destination?
Well, downtown Amsterdam is very unique, and there's a direct flight there, and there's lots of, fun things to check out there. And it's like, there's the whole canal system and everything like that. And I actually really like Dutch culture. So it exists in one form there in the Netherlands and, in a modified form here in Curacao. And it's I like the atmosphere.
Yeah, well, I can. I'm totally. I totally agree with you. But have you been to Bitcoin Amsterdam, or are you planning to go to Bitcoin Amsterdam this year or for next year in 2024?
I was there once in 2018, I think, at the Wednesday Bitcoin Amsterdam.
But not the big conference organized by
no,
Bitcoin
I have
Inc.
not. No.
Okay. So we will see you next year then.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Hey, I was thinking, Steph, because you thought of a great 10 questions. They're very difficult, but one was particularly interesting, I guess. The singularity is near from Ray Kurzweil. And you, Pete, said, well, you said yes, that technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, and that it is now. And it's the same Kurzweil that thinks he wants to put his brain in to save it and upload it in some kind of way, right? He's
Yes.
very how do you say that? Yeah, obsessed with staying alive, of course.
Yeah. Well, that was a tough yes or no question, but I think, you know, we just saw the Chat GPT 3.5 come out, and that being useful to people and not just dismissed like other previous AIs. So really the singularity is supposed to be like 2050, and we can't predict beyond that. But, you know, who knows how that'll change with like AIs that are coming out, and if, you know, some of them will get out of control, or like how that will evolve. You know, I don't think we're right at the singularity yet, but we're seeing that it's happening.
I think you're right that we're on some kind of verge that it's exponential growth again, but now in more in software. It's an interesting one. Hey, and the movie Falling Down, Steph, is it a movie that Pete is obsessed about?
I think so, yeah.
Because I know the movie and it's a great one.
I didn't hear the question. You were asking Steph, or you were asking me?
Okay. I thought there was a problem with the audio. Steph, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Let's do it again, okay?
Yeah. Maybe he's muted or something.
Yeah, I think. The movie Falling Down. What's your obsession with the movie? Because Steph put that question in the yes and no question, so I think, well, maybe that's a movie that you watched multiple times.
I have watched it multiple times, and obviously before there was Bitcoin or whatever. But you know, looking back, you can kind of see it as like someone snapping because of the fiat world. So yeah, it's just the guy loses his marbles, and at the beginning of the movie you don't really realize how much over the deep end he is. And there was even a commercial recently about how, you know, people are born into this world and there's so much unfairness, and that's really kind of the story in the movie there.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
That's a very it's a topic that is very relevant now. So
I haven't seen it before, so I will put it on the list.
It is really great movie, and it's very slow. So you just grow into it, and then
cool.
Yeah, it's the opening scene is epic.
Really cool.
Hey, the last question I want to ask you, the last topic I want to bring
just
up here,
like him in the car there, where he's
minutes.
super frustrated, and like later on in the movie when, you know, he's carrying around this briefcase and then you find out there's just an apple in it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's too good.
So nothing dangerous or something. Indeed.
Yeah. And then the how he loses it on the shopkeeper or whatever when he's just trying to buy the Coca-Cola. Yeah.
Indeed.
You know, it's the runaround of life.
The last thing I want to put in here, Pete, before we head to the 21 minutes, is that you invented the Bitcoin paper wallet, and Edward uses it, or has used it a lot in the past. Can you maybe tell our audience what it really is, and Edward, maybe also your vision on the paper wallet?
Yeah, well, my paper wallet's at bitaddress.org, and you know, right after I got into Bitcoin, I was inspired to create that. There was a miner who had got hacked and talked about that on the forum. And back in those days, you couldn't even encrypt the regular Bitcoin Core wallet.dat file. And then I set on a mission to it's like necessity is the mother of invention. And that was something I needed for myself. And then I shared it on the forums, open sourced it, got a lot of feedback. And nowadays I I'm not actually teaching people to use the paper wallet. I'm more teaching them Blue Wallet and using a mobile phone. And actually next month, I'm going to release a video with like a 2023 best practices for wallet security.
Ah, great. Okay. And what was your experience, Edward, with the paper wallet?
Well, I was thinking about what you were saying, and I thought, well, the Mount Gox and the problem later with the DAT file, it's so crazy that back in the day that you only needed one file. I mean, yeah, when you think of it, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But the paper wallet, I used it a lot because I also liked it, and you could order some stickers with holograms on it and anti-tampering stickers, right? But it's a long time ago, and I don't use them anymore. But I think a lot of Bitcoiners that are entering the space don't know that it even existed. So
there's definitely
and how to sweep them.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, you kind of age yourself a bit as a Bitcoiner when you acknowledge bitaddress.org, and the new people don't really know about it. And
no.
But back in the day, that was the best way to like secure your Bitcoins. So
yeah, it's absolutely,
it's part of the Bitcoin history. So how nice is that?
Yeah.
Well, Peter, we want to talk about the Bitcoin Reef in Curacao. Obviously, we prepared a lot of questions for you, but it has to be in the 21 minutes. So if you are ready, we would really love to enter that part. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
I'm also ready. Okay.
Connetti il mondo.
Yeah, and before getting into the Bitcoin Reef initiative, let's talk a little bit about Curacao. Can you tell us something more about the current economic and cultural climate there?
Yeah, well, Curacao is a Dutch island, which has people from European ancestry, but also African ancestry. And it's multicultural here. People speak 4 languages. Like local people who have grown up here, they speak Dutch and Papiamentu, the local Creole language, but they also speak English and Spanish. And economically, Curacao used to rely on the refinery, but it's no longer operational, and it's really a financial center and also tourism.
Yeah, tourism. I think the biggest is tourism, right, at the moment.
Tourism and the financial sector; those are the top 2.
Yeah, and what are the biggest challenges that Curacao faces at this moment?
I think it's just after COVID recovery, Curacao ran out of foreign reserves, so we had to get foreign reserves loaned to us by the Netherlands. And then in exchange, the Netherlands asked for budget cuts, not just for programs, but for government employees cutting their salaries across the board. And I think that's a challenge, for infrastructure here and stuff, because there's a little bit less money each year than, let's say, the pre-COVID years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's particularly difficult. And considering that a significant portion of Curaçao's population is unbanked, how does Bitcoin and Lightning Network offer a solution for financial inclusion?
I think that's a tough question with like an unsatisfactory answer. I think we barely scratched the surface getting to the truly unbanked people to have their own Bitcoin wallet apps themselves. I think there's been 2 ways indirectly that Bitcoin has helped. So, there is an unbanked problem here. One is from people who are non-residents, or they're not documented residents here, so they can't easily get a bank account. And then there's another factor, like there's no law for a basic bank account. So if you don't have a job, you can't get a bank account. So if one spouse has a job, then the bank account's in their name, and then the other spouse doesn't have a bank account. And that's like a challenge of financial abuse. It can be in some situations. And we've been researching that topic because we were inspired by what's happening in Peru, by Motive Peru, that Joe Nakamoto and Paco de la India were documenting.
Yep.
But we haven't scratched the surface on that. That's, more of our mission has been like in the low-hanging fruit, which is the people that are financially privileged, that are well-educated, that have good jobs here, that, are easier to get the message across to them.
Yeah.
And then
what are
I wanted to add one more thing, but I think you had a question, Steph.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, what other improvements do you hope? What improvements do you hope to see in the future then with this development you were just talking about?
Yeah, so there's one project that we got excited about because COVID opened our mind to that. Our children had tablets at school and could work from home, but a lot of the local kids at the local public schools, they missed a lot of instruction due to COVID. And then we looked into like, how can we donate tablets or laptops to schools? But then we found there was a deeper problem, which there isn't Wi-Fi at a lot of the public schools. So the schools all get the internet through the major telecom companies. And I believe some of that internet comes to them for free. But from the administrative office that gets hooked up, the internet access points are not there to have Wi-Fi ubiquitous in all the classrooms. So with a local foundation that was already had this project, they had done 3 schools already. We've done 3 more schools with them and 1 juvenile detention center. And we're actively doing more with them because it doesn't make sense for us to try to teach children about Bitcoin if they don't have internet at home or at school. We want to first get them the internet at school. And that's like a doorway to the Dutch language, which the school directors and stuff have expressed that. Like, this is like, now the smart TV can be turned on and they can learn Dutch.
Yeah, great. But I think
Absolutely,
this is the most important thing, right? Because you don't want to stumble upon those basic problems when you're orange pilling or teaching people about Bitcoin, because that's going to give a lot of noise instead that you just can go on with the process, right?
Yeah, we have to meet people where they're at. So there's some people who don't have internet. That's a challenge. There's some people who don't have bank accounts. That's an unsolved problem. And then more so, we're orange pilling people who are kind of ready for the message and that they just need the help. Like, they're already showing interest. And then we can recommend them wallets. We can answer any questions or any hangups they have. We can address them.
Yeah. And I think also you can see it the other way around, that it's there's a lot to gain. So in the end, if these problems are solved, then the true possibilities open to actually be able to help. So there are a couple of steps in beforehand that are needed. And can you share perhaps a story behind the starting of the Bitcoin Reef initiative? Because you started it in Curacao. What inspired you to focus on this region specifically?
Well, I live in Curacao, so it's really about the dream of spending Bitcoin myself personally. So I think I'm able to kind of live in the future by spending Bitcoin several times per month. And what inspired me was that a now friend of mine, Ricardo, from the Esperamos grocery store here locally. We had a mutual friend who invited him to a Bitcoin meetup in 2018. And from that, there spurred the conversation, that Ricardo could be a change maker here locally. And he has been, because if you get a grocery store to accept Bitcoin, that's like the center of economic life. And everyone knows they can, it's like an exit ramp. They can offload their sats for food. And really he was already into Bitcoin. He was actually like GPU mining with a small rig, but his hang up was like, he didn't want Bitcoin physically in the store there. So I taught him about watch-only wallets. And that was like the key piece of knowledge he needed to start accepting it. And back in those days, it was on-chain. And that kind of inspired me to make a WhatsApp group with other retailers. And we instantly had like 40 retailers in that chat group. But between 2018 and 2020, it materialized into like 8 or 9 places taking Bitcoin. Then 2020,
okay. That's nice. Yeah.
COVID hit, and that really inspired me to make a public effort at this merchant adoption endeavor. And it was partly the annoyance of like, you can't pay people by WhatsApp. Like they're coming and doing a delivery and then you got to give them cash, or you have to like actually use the point of sale. There's like a wireless point of sale for cards here in Curacao that like a delivery person will have. And I was like, this should be easier. And taking MasterCard and Visa is very challenging here for local businesses. Like they can take it physically, like if you have the card, but if it's online, there's a whole world of challenges that stop them. And Bitcoin is really the solution for that. And it was that frustration of like, let's get the word out so more businesses take Bitcoin and let's do it publicly. And that happened in 2020.
Yeah. And how have you engaged with the local community then in Curacao to promote the use of Bitcoin? Are there any particular strategies or educational campaigns you found to be the most effective? You already told us that a grocery store is the best place, obviously, but are there other strategies or campaigns?
Yeah. Well, I've been part of the local Bitcoin meetups here since 2015. So we've had a core group of us, doing voluntarily orange pilling people and such. And then there's a wider community because of the financial center. So the trust companies, the gambling companies, the financial companies, like all of their employees are somewhat knowledgeable about crypto, and that creates like a healthy ecosystem going on. But in 2020, our mission was like, we're going to teach consumers and businesses. And the single biggest thing that has the most impact from then, and we continue it now, is we have 3 billboards around the island, like in heavily trafficked areas. And we made our own version of an old Bitcoin meme where I'm sure you guys have seen it, where it's like the shopping cart. And over the years, you get more and more food in Satoshis in that shopping cart. So we made a billboard where it shows on the left 1 Bitcoin in 2011, and it gets you a pizza slice. And then on the right, it shows you 1 Bitcoin in 2021, and it gets you a car.
That's great.
So, yeah, you have the inflation and the deflation card. That's funny.
Yeah. And nowadays, if you talk to someone in Curacao about Bitcoin, they've all seen the billboard. So this has had the subliminal message. And actually, that billboard I was in 2018 paying for my gym membership at a certain gym. And the owner said to me, they take any type of payment, all forms of payment. And then I'm like, okay, great, I can pay in Bitcoin. And then the person said back to me, oh, is that still relevant? And there's certain like things that light a fire in you to like help change the world. And that was one. I was like, if I put Bitcoin on a billboard, no one's ever going to talk to me like that. Like, is it still relevant?
No, great. That is a great strategy. And I think that the owner of the shop, because I assume you paid him in Bitcoin, he's now very happy with the payment, right?
No, the owner of the shop didn't take Bitcoin, and that.
Oh no! That's a bummer.
That's how that worked out. But it's not always successes in this journey of like knocking on doors and trying to convince people. And this year we've tried a new strategy. Oh, sorry.
No. Just tell us about a new strategy of orange pilling.
Yeah, well, we tried to get more attention this year by sponsoring Miss Curacao and the Curacao Beauty Pageant Committee. So that's to draw attention from locals, but also from tourists and like foreign Bitcoiners. We want them to hear about Curacao, and it's like, hey, you can come here, spend your sats in luxury and enjoy. And so far that's going well. Let's see if that translates into actual tourists coming here or not.
Yeah. Hey, and given the adoption of the Lightning Network by some businesses in Curacao, how has this impacted the way transactions are conducted? So, are there any noticeable differences in efficiency or cost compared to traditional Bitcoin transactions, especially when everything was on chain at first?
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. Like the checkout experience is smooth, and the consumer and the merchant both get that check mark, and so there's a satisfied feeling right away. And paying on chain, there's this awkwardness of like the confirmation and the knowledge level of the cashier versus the customer, and whether zero comp should be accepted or not. So
and are there also technological or regulatory hurdles that you need to overcome? I mean, is it
no?
Or is it just go with the flow?
Okay, well, actually, the Curacao law here is very friendly to Bitcoin, so everything is allowed. There's no capital gains in general in Curacao, so there's no regulatory thing like stopping people from legally spending Bitcoin or merchants accepting it. There isn't any specific laws on Bitcoin yet, so there hasn't been like global exchanges coming here where it's easy to do like an online bank transfer to get Bitcoin. But that doesn't really hold us back. There's peer-to-peer markets. We have a Telegram chat that's open, and people can come there and find buyers and sellers.
Great. Yeah.
And we encourage that, if people are using custodial wallets, they're regulated overseas, and then no one needs to go through the challenge of being a custodian here, which currently doesn't require any license, but in the future it would require that. And there's one main technology problem, which is the app stores. So back when we were heavily promoting Blue Wallet, randomly it would tell people that they couldn't download it, and there's no explanation in Google. There's no way to solve that problem. I've put issues on the GitHub of like Blue Wallet. No one knows what's going on. And then we saw nowadays we're heavily promoting like Blink or Wallet of Satoshi, and then Wallet of Satoshi just got removed from the US App Store. Many people here use the US App Store. Thankfully, Blink is now on the US App Store, but like you got to go to like get.blink.sv. Otherwise, you won't find it necessarily in like the Apple's App Store. And that's really the main challenge technology wise.
Yeah, well, this touches a difficult thing, of course, because the app stores are the main place to onboard. So if it's not possible to download the app, then of course that's a problem. Can you elaborate also on the educational aspects of your initiative? Because I saw also the Blue Wallet and Wallet of Satoshi explanation on the website. How are you addressing the challenge of educating both the merchants, businesses, and also general public about Bitcoin and Lightning?
Yeah. Our main method is a blog/newsletter. So we send out a newsletter to about 500 people. We had done a giveaway and collected like 300 emails from that. And we naturally, through the community, had another 200 people on our email list. So once a month, we send them something local and relevant about Bitcoin. And then we do that in English and Papiamentu, because in the Netherlands, there's already high quality Dutch language Bitcoin content being produced. Also from Suriname, there's some community organizers there recording content in Dutch. And then, of course, in Latin America, there's lots of Spanish content. So, English is my first language. So that's why we're doing English. And the community here till now has been mostly in English, but we start to crack into creating a community of Papiamentu speakers. And even recently we had some guys make a sub chat in Papiamentu from our main Telegram.
That's great. I think that is most important, right? That also every local there out there, can understand what it is to interact with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So
also, can I add one more thing, which is we make YouTube instructional videos for the wallets. So I have my own style because, we're all familiar with like BTC sessions, and he does great videos and covers a broad range of like wallets. But his videos are like very in depth, and it's about 30 minutes. And I'm trying to make videos that are like 2 to 4 minutes, and it's screen recording the phone, and we're walking you through installing, setting up, backing up. And for 4 or 5 different wallets, we've done that in English and Papiamentu, which I have on my YouTube channel, which I didn't send you the link of.
That's great. That's great. And looking forward, what are your goals for the Bitcoin Reef initiative for the near future?
Well, we specifically want to get 500 merchants and 11,000 individuals orange pilled, and that represents 7% of Curacao society. And this should mean that there's a sizable amount of local people voting with Bitcoin interests in mind, so that Bitcoin continues to be this protected asset in Curacao society.
Yeah. And how does the Bitcoin Reef initiative in Curacao compare to other circular Bitcoin economies, such as Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador, in terms of strategy and outcomes? And did this also inspire you to start Bitcoin Reef at first?
Actually, it was Arnhem in the Netherlands that inspired me to do the Bitcoin Reef. So
that's great.
Nice.
Some years ago at a conference in person, I met Patrick from that community there.
Yeah.
And that little seed,
this is a real shout out.
Yeah. No, totally, because he planted the seed, not that he said anything specific, but just witnessing that they had this motivation to like convince merchants. And up till then, my mindset was like, yeah, but Bitcoin's for the internet, and for real life, there's fiat. And then I was like, wait a minute, for real life, there's Bitcoin too.
Yeah.
And I think
this is great. We know Patrick. He's a good friend of ours. So we will say hi from you to him.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the 21 minutes are over,
That's so fast.
Pete. So, time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So, thanks. We had a lot of questions left, but we will definitely invite you into a future episode so we can ask those to you if you're fine with it, of course.
Sure, yeah. We barely made a dent, I think, in the 21 questions.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because it's very inspirational, I think, also for other circular communities around the world who are wanting to start or hit off. It's good to get in touch with each other. So, thanks again. Let's head over to the lightning bingo.
Yeah, so
Conectado
we have one
Luna.
question left for you, Pete. You may choose yourself. You can choose from Maya from Bitcoin Suriname, Moritz from GetAlby, or Brandon Green from BTC Inc. Which one will it be?
I'd like to choose Maya. That's part of the Dutch world, and let's see what her question is.
Let's do it.
All right, here it comes.
Hi, I'm Maya Parbu from Bitcoin Suriname in Suriname, and this is my question for you. How would you, if you were living here, increase Bitcoin adoption in Suriname?
The main thing is asking people where you spend money if they'll accept Bitcoin, because then there's a reliable person to pay them once a week or once a month, however often you use their services. And I think that person-to-person, friend-consumer type of relationship is the easiest way to orange pill people.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you, and I think there's no better person to ask this question than you, Peter. So I'm glad you chose from Maya. Thanks for the answer, man.
Yeah.
Conecta el mundo.
Hey, and where can people follow you? Can you maybe share your Twitter or your...
Yes, please.
I don't know if you're on Nostr.
And a website?
I'm not on Nostr, but please follow me on Twitter at BTC Curacao. And then you can check out our project, btccuracao.com. and see all the places in Curacao where you can spend Bitcoin.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks again. And to everybody else, thanks for listening. And thanks to all members participating in the Social Radio Rings of Fire. And of course, thanks to everyone helping to connect the world with us. So if you like our content, then please support us in our mission, Connect the World, where you can also make a donation and subscribe, like our content on your favorite platform. So we need you to complete our mission. Connect the world. And so keep those notes running, sats flowing, and rings burning. And see you all next week on the same Lightning channel. Namaste, Pete, and see you in
Ayo.
Curacao.
Ayo.